Messick's, a helping hand with your land.
Hi, I'm Don Snelbaker from Messick's Equipment here in Abbottstown, Pennsylvania. And today we're going to look at Kubota's compact excavator, the KX057-4. Now Kubota has a full line of excavators ranging in size from a KX018 all the way up to a KX080. Now first we're going to do, in our walk around here, we're going to talk about the tracks. Now Kubota has rubber tracks on this machine currently, but they're also offer a steel track option as well. This is a 400 millimeter rubber track, has 5 rolls on the bottom, 1 roll on top, and then is gear driven from the back. And it's the same on both sides of the excavator. All right, the next thing that we're going to look at is the fuel cap and actually filling the unit with fuel. Now the first thing that you do is pull the slide to the side so you can get to the keyhole, unlock the cap, and then the next thing you do is press that button with the key on in the unit. Now what will happen is it'll beep like it's doing now, and that beeping will continue as you're filling up the unit with diesel fuel. The reason it does that is the fuller that the tank gets, the faster that beeping will continue to do, until it'll actually be beeping so fast that you'll know that your tank is almost full. The benefit of that is that it allows you to fill the tank without wasting fuel, just because fuel cost is very high now and we don't want to waste any fuel. All right, now we're going to talk about the engine compartment of the compact excavator. Kubota does a really good job with their engine compartments and making that everything is easily accessible. In this instance, they call it a one-sided operation, one-sided engine compartment. And with that being, everything is fully accessible. You have your DPF muffler, you have your oil fill, your oil dipstick. Down inside is your starter. Up here is your alternator and your oil filter. Now this engine is a Tier 4 compliant engine. And the next thing we'll do is go to the other side compartment of the unit. Now we're going to go to the side access panel of the KX057-4 excavator. Now as you can see, they make it very easy that you can actually look into this side panel with actually lifting it up. What that allows you to do is actually look at your hydraulic oil level in the machine without actually having to open a side panel. That makes it easy so that you can just look without actually having to open anything. Now to open it is very easy. Just lift the handle and the panel will lock into place. Now Kubota also does an excellent job in their engineering and design on these units, whereas everything is fully accessible to get to. All your hydraulic lines, your hydraulic valves are very easy to get to. Up here you have your air filter. It is a dual element air filter. Down here is your fuel filter. And the next thing that we will actually go to is on this side we have the battery. And down in the compartment here, they call this a grease gun compartment. And the unit also has a toolbox here for keeping small tools that you want to keep in the machine accessible at all times. The next thing we'll go to is the dozer blade on the front of the unit. Now the dozer blade on this unit is 25 degrees that you can rotate it left or right. And it also has a full float function. What that allows you to do is when you're trying to backfill a trench, you put the unit into float mode and you just back over your trench, and that allows the blade to ride over the ground levelly and level the ground out without actually digging into the ground more as you're moving in reverse. It makes it much easier to backfill a trench. Another feature that we have here is on the boom. Now with the boom here, you actually have a base setup here for a hydraulic thumb. That's standard on every unit. And there's auxiliary hydraulics on this side and on the other side as well. What that allows you to hook up to is a hydraulic thumb attachment, or they may also make several other attachments that you can use for this machine. To take the bucket on and off, it's a pin connection. It is not hydraulic, but it is pin, which you would just pull this pin out here, and then you would be able to remove the bucket. All right, now we're going to look at the inside of the cab of this machine. Now, one of the nice things that I want to show first is when you open the door of this machine, if it's a nice day and you want to leave the door open, all you do is push the door back and it locks into position. That makes it very nice to get in and out of the cab and to even operate the unit from inside. Next thing we'll do is crawl up inside the cab. Alright, now these controls here are what allows the machine to move forward and backwards. There's a lever here over on the foot that allows the boom to swing back and forth, left or right. Now with pilot controls, this lever here is actually what controls the arm of the excavator and allows it to actually move up, move down, and allows your bucket to spin open or closed, allow you to dig or dump whatever you have in your bucket. This lever here is actually the one that controls your dozer blade. The toggle switch on top allows you to angle your blade left to right, and there's a button on the bottom here, and that allows you to switch from low speed to high speed in operation so that you can increase your speed or decrease your speed as necessary. When you have the unit operating and down, then this lever is actually what controls the swing of the unit. So when you push this lever to the left or to the right, that allows the whole unit to actually spin 360 degrees in operation. Then this forward and back unit actually lets the front arm of the boom to allow you to dig into whatever you're operating with. So you have your digging control with the front to back, and on this lever you have your full side to side and your bucket control and your front to back. Your throttle control is up here on the compartment up here on the right hand side. There's a button for eco. That eco button allows the unit so that when you're operating and you want to run the unit at a very high RPM, and when you're operating the unit at that rate, if you get out of the unit or if you're not using it for like 30 seconds and you have that eco button pushed, it allows the unit to actually slow down RPM in itself and it'll operate at an idle. Now the benefit of that is that saves you a lot of fuel versus running the engine wide open for a long period of time. So if you're in and out, and what you'll find is when you're using this machine, you will be in and out of it often. There's also this, with the unit being a Tier 4 engine, it has an automatic regen system in it. So what happens is when the diesel particulates build up in the muffler to a level that exceeds where it needs to be, it has to go through a regen process. Now when that regen process takes place, it's going to run the engine at a very high RPM and burn very hot. Now the unfortunate thing with that is if you're in an area where you're close to flammable materials and you don't want to run that, there is a button up here that you can push to bypass that. Now you don't want to do that many times. If you do that, you can do damage to the unit. The only other buttons that we have up here are, there's a button for lights, and there's also your AC controls and a wiper control that are up here. Now one of the hugest benefits that are really nice with this machine are the doors. What that allows you to do is have full access to look outside of the unit. So if you're operating on a rainy or muddy day, you can open that door up, still be in the dry, and you can see what you need to dig. That's about the best way that you can do it. Then to close it, you just push the handles here, and it is locked back into position. You also have an operating window up here that allows you to see if you have your boom very high in the air. When you have the boom all the way in the up position, you can reach up to 18 feet. And when you're digging down, you have a digging depth of 12 feet. Now we're actually going to run the unit, and I'll show you the controls that we talked about earlier. So if you push forward on the handle here, on the pilot controls, that takes the boom down. If you pull up, it takes the boom up. If you take your pilot controls to the left, that curls the bucket in, and if you take it to the right, it curls the bucket back out. Now on your left control, you have your up and down, and that'll control the reach of the arm. So forward takes your arm out, back pulls your arm in, and then if you move it left to right, that allows you to rotate the unit. So you can spin the unit a full 360 degrees in one position, allowing you to fully get into a tight position without actually having to move. That also allows you to dig a very deep hole and load a truck without ever having to move the machine. The next thing I'm going to show you is the actual use of the dozer blade. Now to use the dozer blade to raise and lower it is just with this lever in here. Pull up, raises the dozer blade up. Go down, lays the dozer blade down. And you also use that to actually stabilize the machine by having it in a down position while you'd be digging or moving the machine to try to get into a tighter space. Now, I'll raise it back up and show you the toggling. So you toggle it to the right, change the blade to your 25 degrees to the right, take it back to the 25 degrees to the left. And that allows you to actually not have to turn the machine around, but you can just angle the blade so that you can move the grade of the dirt however you need necessary. The next thing that we're going to go over here is just actually showing you the boom swing. The boom swing is controlled by foot controls at the bottom right hand side of the cab. Now in those controls, you push the lever to the right, that allows the boom to swing to the right. You push it to the left, it allows it to swing back to the left. This also allows you to have a little more flexibility in tight places where you can't swing the machine, but you still need to move the boom. That's the function of that. This concludes our wrap-up of Kubota's KX057-4. If you have any further questions, you can feel free to give us a call at 1-800-222-3373, or you can go to our website at messicks.com. Thank you very much for viewing us today, and we'll try to have some more videos coming to you soon. Thank you.